control.
Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel.
Now, your ride is about to begin.
Cruise control.
Because you're on cruise control. Cruise control. Cruise control.
Hey everybody, welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Les Jackson. The other guy at the other mic is Fred Staub.
Hello.
We are here each and every week live because, hey, we have to be. First, we like it. Secondly,
we have to
the auto industry changes so much that we have to stay awake 24 hours a day to follow it.
That's true. That's true, Les. Yeah, a lot of coffee, Les. And one of the events this week that involved staying awake because there's a lot going on, it almost didn't happen. CES is back, and it's one of the most automotive technology-filled shows out there. We're going to have some details, aren't we?
We are. A lot happened. It always does at CES. And over at Mercedes, they show off their Vision EQXX. Here we go with the letters again. Dozens of innovations, really slick looking, almost Lamborghini-ish in the back.
Yeah, very, very, very cool. They show that off. Tons of technology, as they say. Mm-hmm. And Chrysler kind of calls back a bit of its history with something they're calling the airflow, Les Jackson.
Well, that's a great name. It's a wonderful name from the 30s. Mm-hmm. Classic car. And I won't sing it.
That's
but
good.
If kicks just keep getting harder to find. Nissan kicks off the 22 kicks with affordability and fun, and I like the kicks.
Yeah, that's a vehicle you can get for about $22,000. Yes, you
well,
still
not
can get
today.
them.
You can't.
And we're also going to talk about. You and I had a chance to interview Scott Hoskinson, who's the lead production manager or program manager for battery electric trucks for GM. We talked about the Silverado EV, didn't we? And we're going to have an interview with Scott because this is over a 600 horsepower monster. And it actually kind of brings back some good things from another truck from the past, doesn't it?
It sure does. And this is a big deal. And Scott is, as we saw, was very enthusiastic, as is GM, because, they had to come back and compete with Ford's Lightning. And I think they've done a good job.
Yeah, and then I'm also going to have an at-the-wheel review of the Honda Ridgeline Sport. This is the HPD edition, so we'll tell you about that. That is a lot to get to, and we are so glad you're along for the ride at Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. We will be right back, so stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine.
And over here,
Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. My co-host is none other than Les Jackson, as it has been, since the early 2000s.
More than 20 years.
Yeah, more than 20 years. And
I was only 14 at the time.
it was amazing. You were a child prodigy
Well,
on the
I
radio.
haven't taken care of myself, but
Sometimes you crack me up. I don't know what to say about it. But let's move over to a new vehicle that Mercedes has shown off at the CES show. Now, we didn't even know the CES show, if it was going to happen. A lot of our friends were saying, no, we're not going. And, you know, it did happen, though. And the Vision EQXX.
it squeaked through.
It squeaked
It barely
through.
squeaked through, but it did.
Now, the Vision EQXX, also a difficult name to say, Mercedes.
I'm going to call it the EQ20, Roman numerals.
Okay.
It's
all right.
easier to say.
The concept here, this is sort of a talking tech for us, too. The concept here was, what if efficiency was like horsepower and you wanted to be the most efficient, have the most efficient vehicle on the road? And that was the exciting angle behind that. And that's what they have come up with for this Vision EQ20, as you like to call it. And it has to do with aerodynamics. It's got a 0.17 CD.
Ooh.
Which makes it super slippery. I mean, they let the shape of the vehicle be driven by aerodynamics. That was the key and most important thing there. But they haven't stopped there. It's electric, and it's got a range of 620 miles. 620.
That's serious range.
Yeah. But they don't stop there. They build it with a lot of innovative recycled and plant-based materials. No, it is not built from tofu, Les Jackson.
No.
It is not. It
And
does
you
not
can't-
have tofu seeds.
And you can't eat it.
No, you probably would not want to. But it does have things like vegan-friendly seats, and a lot of materials are made from recycled materials. This whole thing was designed in just 18 months, went from an idea, a concept in someone's head, all the way up to this vehicle. It's got lightweight brakes. Disc brakes are made from an aluminum alloy. Rolling efficiency, lightweight magnesium wheels with aerodynamic covers, a lot of 3D printing in the vehicle. A software-driven approach to achieving goals and rapid development. So this is technology all the way through this vehicle. It has solar power, which adds about 117 solar cells to the roof, which add probably about 15 miles of range to your trip. It has a heat pump that sucks up heat generated by the drive system and uses it to heat or cool the vehicle. Remember, I always said I think waste heat recovery will be a big thing in the future.
Absolutely. That is the future in engineering and everything around your house.
Oh, yeah. I mean, why just let that heat go out into the air? Sort of like when I cook something in the oven and it's a cold day, I open the oven and I let the heat go out.
Yeah. And, don't turn on the vent fan.
No, exactly, because you treated that air. Now you're letting it out. It uses something called BioNexX casting. I don't know how they do this. It is digital techniques and software used to develop the casting of various pieces for this vehicle. There is a advanced body shell with lightweight materials, but having crash resistance. Neuromorphic computing. They call it a car that thinks like you. So they are using neural networks with coded discrete spikes, and energy is only consumed when the spike occurs. That's sort of like bust wiring. I think that's what that is like. Yeah. And the technology goes on and on for this vehicle. And here's some examples of it. It uses less than 10 kilowatts of electrical energy to travel 100 kilometers. That's like running your dryer for just 3 hours or an air conditioner for 3 hours. So very efficient.
That's very efficient.
What if efficiency was like horsepower? That's what they're saying. Hey, when we come back, we got plenty more. We're going to talk about some updates from Chrysler.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred and I are talking about the CES show and all the stuff going on. I tell you, this year has started off with a huge bang in the auto industry.
Yeah. CES used to be the land of TVs and gadgets, and it became a great automotive show.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, still gadgets. I mean, I like that part of it too, but
well, see, as far as home gadgets, I have sent letters to all the manufacturers saying I'm not going to buy anything anymore unless you promise you'll never change it.
Well,
I'm tired of the instruction manuals.
Let's get into something that is changing, and it's probably good because the last time the Chrysler Airflow name was used was in the 30s, right? for
It
aerodynamic.
was a very aerodynamic looking car, and it was a good car, but it didn't sell well.
Well, this is very different looking, and this looks very buildable to me. Door handles and
Yeah.
side
Oh,
view
yeah.
mirrors. I mean, this could be out anytime soon, but Chrysler showed off their Airflow concept at the CES show in Las Vegas. Good looking vehicle. Really a nice looking vehicle.
It
I think.
is.
Very
You know,
buildable.
this is the first SUV that appeals enough to me that I would want to buy an SUV.
Well, this is, let me tell you a little bit about this vehicle. It's got level 3 autonomous driving capabilities, which will be updatable to a higher level over the air.
Mm-hmm.
It has a panoramic roof, a calming color palette, Les Jackson. It evokes an open and airy lounge sort of effect. I know you're a loungy type of guy. 300.
You didn't write that.
No.
That's
That's right from the press release.
Some marketing guy wrote that.
It's got a 350 to 400 mile range with fast charge capability. And of course, you know, Stellantis, the parent of Chrysler, has been slow off the mark to announce some of their battery electric vehicles. So they took this turn at CES to show off this Airflow model and announce that they will be going full battery. Chrysler will be going full battery electric by 2028. Very much similar to what Cadillac is doing, kind of being the lead for GM to take that technology to basically their whole lineup. And that's what Chrysler's going to do. Remember, when the folks from Stellantis came in, they said Chrysler's got 5 years to prove itself. Otherwise, we might not keep it around. So this is how they're going to prove themselves with vehicles like this Airflow. The interior,
I think this is a great move.
I mean, in the past, I would have said this interior looks a little too futuristic, but we're seeing this is the way it's going to go. Lots of screens, lots of audio, I shouldn't say audio, light tricks and textures and patterns. So this thing is very
but
buildable.
also very not Spartan, but not all fancied up. I guess elegant simplicity would be a
Loungy, Les Jackson. That's what
term?
it is. Loungy. That's what they're calling it. Loungy.
lounge. Okay.
Lounge lizard. You can be a lounge.
I don't see. Yeah, that's what makes me think of lounge lizard.
I guess it's okay. Maybe that's what they'll say. It's okay to be a lounge lizard if you're in the Chrysler Airflow.
I don't know.
But I think we will see this vehicle, and I think it is very close to production. That's what I think.
I agree.
Yeah. Now, over while we're on the CES discussion, over at GM, of course, we're going to talk a little bit later about their Silverado EV, but this is their idea for the Equinox EV. It looks very similar in form to the Airflow, if you think about it.
It does.
It's kind of the same. What they've done with these renderings here is they've kind of showed that they're pulling a little bit of that RS look that they're using in the Trailblazer. And the RS look, frankly, comes from the Camaro. The interior, if you look at that, there's a lot of Camaro cues in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been a very popular thing on the Trailblazer, a very popular trim level. And I think they're going to pull it forward in the Equinox. But if you look at the two, they look rather similar in style. They are small crossovers, almost, dare I say it, station wagon-like, right?
I was going to say that just you got ahead of me, but yes, it's very station wagony in a really attractive way.
Yeah, so that's a couple of new vehicles coming up. But what if you want to buy something right now and you say, I want something fun, but I don't want to spend a ton of money? Well, we have some pricing information on the Nissan Kicks for 2022. This starts out, they're all front-wheel drive. None of them are all-wheel drive, but they are kind of like a crossover looking type vehicle. Once again, they're marketing it to younger buyers.
Mm-hmm.
The Kicks S front-wheel drive starts at $19,700. Then if you go up a level, the Kicks SV front-wheel drive, SV, $21,550. And the top of the range with that Bose speaker system in the headrest is $22,240. So a good deal all the way around. They all come with a 1.6 four-cylinder engine, 122 horsepower, Android Auto, Xtronic transmission. Not a bad little vehicle. It's got standard Nissan safety shield and automatic exclusive rear automatic braking, class exclusive intelligent all-around monitor plus. Pretty cool vehicle.
Yeah, it's a lot for the money.
And between the base model and the SR, which is the top of the line, not a big, maybe about 2,000, 2,200 difference. Not bad.
Just a little bit. And there's only one option package available.
And mileage is good. 36 highway, 31 city, combined 33. So not bad, and I do like it with black wheels. Because you know me, Les, I talk for the youth generation.
Yes, you do.
I am the voice of the youth.
Yes.
Yep. No, but it just proves you don't have to spend $40,000 to have a fun car that's got updated safety features. It's got some style. It's got some capability. The only downside is if you're looking for all-wheel drive, the Kicks is just not available in it. I don't think they'll ever make it available in it. They probably want you to step up to a Rogue Sport or something like that to get all-wheel drive.
Yeah, they're big market for the Rogue.
And the Rogue Sport, not a bad deal either. So Nissan's got some good deals. And once again, that would be a pick for a first car. And wouldn't that be a great first car?
It really would.
Got all the features, all the safety, and who doesn't love those stitched together cameras when backing into a parking space? I tell you, I wouldn't get a vehicle without it. How about you?
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Everything should have that.
Yeah.
Should be mandated.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to have our interview that we did earlier in the week with Scott Hoskinson, who's the lead program manager for battery electric vehicles over at GM. You and I were pretty impressed with this Silverado EV. It's 600-plus horsepower, 700-plus pound-feet of torque, 400 miles of range, 100 miles of charge in 10 minutes. And it kind of has some features from the Avalanche. Remember that Chevy truck with the mid-gate?
Yep, the mid-gate, yeah.
You could fold it down and put, the universal symbol of active lifestyle customers, the kayak in it. And you can do that with this as well.
Listen, I have my kayak right here against the wall.
I just walk around with one. Just, I go into the supermarket and I have one. They're like, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So, hey, when we come back, though, we'll have that interview about the Silverado EV. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. Earlier in the week, right after it was revealed at CES, you and I had a chance to speak with Scott Hoskinson, who's lead program manager for battery electric trucks, and it was about the Silverado. Let's listen to what he had to say. It's been a big week for GM, of course. The Silverado EV was revealed at the CES show in Las Vegas, and we wanted to know more about it. So we have Scott Hoskinson, who's the lead program manager for electric trucks at GM. Scott, good morning and welcome to Cruise Control.
Good morning. Great to be here with you guys.
Yeah, it was a big week for you. Of course, we didn't know what was going to go on with CES, but you made it happen. And I think that the first thing we should say about this Silverado EV is it is a brand new vehicle. It's not that you took the current gas-powered Silverado and added an electric drivetrain to it. This is brand new, isn't it?
Right. Developed from the ground up on our Ultium EV platform.
Wow. And we also should say the big news is right away, 400 miles of range. GM's President Mark Royce said we're not going to do 200-mile range vehicles, electric vehicles anymore. 400 is the new 200 and beyond. So this is the first batter out of the box with that big range.
Yeah, 400 miles is awesome. I mean, frankly, the truck is fantastic, right? And not only does it have 400 miles of range, but in our wide open watts mode, if you notice, 664 horsepower, 780 pound-feet of torque, truly impressive, revolutionary numbers.
We're very electric friendly here at Cruise Control because it's the future. And it's hard to get your head around the fact that this is a truck. This is a big, heavy truck, and it has massive power, massive range, massive towing ability. People are slowly learning that electric-powered vehicles really do everything you want them to do. Did you meet all the design parameters that you were hoping for, or it looks to me like you went past them?
Yeah, in fact, actually, that capability and the technology and performance that Ultium architecture gives us was a great starting point, right? We met all of the criteria for this athletic design that we wanted. We had the engineering bandwidth, like you said, to provide really impressive torque and horsepower, the towing, right? All of the things that truck customers really care about. We were able to nail every one of our goals, which is to provide the customer with everything they would want in a truck.
And while it is a truck, we should, since it is a truck, we should also mention that it has 780 pounds of torque. So that will get work done. And let's mention a little bit about towing. 10,000 pounds of towing, maximum towing. We understand from your video there's more to come on that, too. So these numbers are very close to ICE vehicles for sure, the ICE versions of Silverado.
Yep.
So that is amazing. And, you basically built the vehicle around the battery pack. The battery pack is the spine and forms the frame of the vehicle, right?
Yeah, so it's this, again, it's a revolutionary concept where you have this Ultium architecture that is so stiff and so well architected that you can build a truck on it. You can, we share this architecture with the Hummer EV. So you have a Hummer based on this. You have this Silverado EV based on this. It truly provides you opportunities you could never do before.
What's the expected life of the battery itself, and how serviceable would it be in the future? Because I'm sure fleet buyers particularly are going to want to know that.
Sure, yeah, and fleet actually was one of our key points as we focused on this truck, right? I mean, we saw the RST on the stage with Mary Barra. We saw how beautiful it looks, right? But we also talked about our fleet trucks and the capability we're bringing to those. As you know, the batteries are key to the confidence of any electric vehicle, right? And the Ultium battery cells that we're developing right now they're two generations better than what LG was developed with us for the Bolt and the Bolt EUV. And General Motors continues to develop new technology, continues to work on creating better cells, more energy density, and we're going to always need to invest in that battery technology. So the backbone of Ultium is the fact that the cells can be upgraded over time, and the architecture won't care about that. So you should be able to have no problems whatsoever in your life cycle of your, in this case, Silverado EV pickup truck.
Yeah, and you've actually highlighted a couple of early adopters, Enterprise rental vehicles, and there's another company, a power company, I think. And what's interesting there's the work truck version, which is going to be the first version that comes out. It actually has a black front panel in the front, just like the current work truck, which has a black grille, which I thought was really interesting. And we should talk, though, about the RST, which is the one you said was shown with Mary Barra on the stage at CES. This thing not only is an electric vehicle, not only do you get 100 miles of range in 10 minutes, and those incredible horsepower numbers and that, but it's also got a ton of other technology, including four-wheel steering. And you kind of call back to one of my favorite GM vehicles from the past, the Avalanche, because it's got a midgate. So there's a lot to talk about right there, Scott.
Sure, and like you said, again, that Ultium architecture gives you opportunities to do things you couldn't have done before, right? And one of those, we looked at a traditional pickup truck and we said, what's one of the most common shortcomings of a full-size pickup truck, maybe with a short box?
Mm-hmm.
And that is you can't carry long cargo.
Right.
So you can make a truck that's very long, or you can make a truck that is more maneuverable and short. And we said, let's do both.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it does have some cues back to the Avalanche and the things that the Avalanche could do. But being a Silverado is core to this truck, and being a true truck for a truck customer, we just want to enable them to do what they wanted to do, which is maybe in this case, I want to go haul 4x8 sheets of drywall or plywood or 2x4s, but I don't want to have a truck that's so long I can't park it easily.
Right. So
we developed the 60-40 split midgate, so you could even have people in the back seat and have your long cargo. And then you have four-wheel steering, so it maneuvers significantly better than it could have if it didn't have that. So like you said, we tried to hit every one of those customer usage scenarios for a full-size pickup truck and make them better than what they could get today.
So, Scott, the final question is, where would people go if they want to get more information on the Silverado EV and maybe see some videos, see some pictures, and get some more information?
So the first place to go is Chevrolet.com, where we have information up. You can see, again, those stills and some of the video and some additional information about the truck. And additionally, if you're interested, you can be a hand raiser and you can find out information on reserving a truck at Chevrolet.com.
All right. Well, Scott, we both Les and I appreciate this, and we can't wait to drive it. I know Les is chomping at the bit. He loves to roll on those big hoops.
I'm ready to get a speeding
24s.
ticket right now.
It's funny, Scott. A lot of people, when I tell them what I do in that, and I tell them to drive electric vehicles, they say, "Oh yeah, but they're slow." And with all this horsepower and torque,
Nope.
I don't think that's going to be slow at all. I tell everyone, if you haven't driven an electric vehicle, you should, because you'll be blown away.
Truly impressive.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Scott. Appreciate you joining us on Cruise
Appreciate
Control.
it, Scott.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, there you have it. That was a great interview, Les. At the end there, you saw a little bit of another vehicle that we're going to be, or another version of the Silverado EV that we're going to have, and that is the Trail Boss. So the lineup is huge for the Silverado EV, and everything from the work truck to that RST. Pretty cool, right?
It is cool. Scott obviously was very enthusiastic about it because he's got a product to sell. He's got something that's just going to knock the socks off the buyers, and he's happy.
Yeah, and I have to say, I thought the thing looked very futuristic. Yet it had some
Yeah.
great features like that mid gate, which I always thought was a great idea. And you know the it's going to be pricey, probably $100,000 for the fully
Yeah.
equipped
But
model, but you get things like four-wheel steering. Another callback. We saw that a number of years ago from the folks at GM. But hey, when we come back, we're going to have an at the wheel review of the Honda Ridgeline. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. We will be right back. Stay tuned. And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. We are glad to be with you. We've been talking a little bit about future vehicles that were revealed at CES, but now let's talk about one vehicle that I was actually able to drive, and I have an at-the-wheel review of the Honda Ridgeline. The Honda Ridgeline, of course, is a medium pickup truck. That's how it's classified. It's very car-like and very unique, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. This was a 2021 model, and the big news for 2021, Les Jackson, is that all of them are all-wheel drive. They all have standard IVTM4 all-wheel drive, which is great. I think it's a great system. It has a snow mode. It has all different kinds of modes for traveling around, and that's great. There's a new exterior design. Basically, it's fresh from the A-pillars forward with a new rear bumper as well. And what they've done is they've added a physical volume knob to the vehicle for their infotainment system. We'll talk a little bit about that later. Ours had this HPD package, which is $2,800, had the 18-inch HPD alloy wheels in gold, which I quite liked, fender flares, an updated grille, HPD decals, and emblem. It doesn't really do anything to enhance the vehicle's off-road capability, but they will have eventually probably a trail sport model of this. That is their off-road brand with a little bit extra clearance, and that has not been announced. But the main thing about this vehicle, if you've never used one, it's got the magic tailgate. You can put it down like a regular tailgate or swing it out, which is great for loading things. And then
I love that.
The cool thing is it's got a trunk and a place for the spare tire underneath the bed. That's lockable storage. It's great. It's really deep, and it is, as one of my neighbors said, a game changer. There's a little compartment for storing straps and things for securing things. All come with a V6 engine and a 9-speed automatic. That 9-speed automatic was new for 2020. But on the inside, you would think you're really in some kind of Accord or something like that. Very car-like on the inside. And ours was this sport model, which is unique here. Cloth seats, nice cloth seats, but normally we don't get the base model in a press vehicle, and we did get that in this vehicle, which was kind of cool.
That is rare.
Very rare. One of the problems I had with this is I could not connect my phone, my Android Auto phone, to the infotainment system. Try as I might, I couldn't do it. We'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. Nice rear seats, how they fold up, a little bit taken from the fit, where it has that bar that comes down so you can store things under the window. Handsome looking truck, though. It's got some aero going on, subtle aero. The rear glass is tilted back. There's a little bit of a spoiler on the back of the bed, which is nice. I found it drove really well, rode really well, yet had that utility in the bed. That bed, by the way, is made out of sheet-molded composites, so it is not a metal bed, so you don't need a bed liner whatsoever on that vehicle. And the bed is about 5 foot 4 inches long, but with that extra storage underneath and the fact that you can work that tailgate in different ways, I think it would be a very useful vehicle. And mid-sized trucks, for a while there weren't a lot of them around. People weren't just kind of buying into that part of the automotive segment. But now, of course, this has a lot of competition. Ford Ranger, Ford Maverick, and Colorado, and more and more and more every day. Santa Cruz from Hyundai. It's really expanding. But I think the real standout is the bed, for sure, with all that storage under there. It really, as a friend of mine said, is a game changer for that. There's new contrast stitching on the seats. Sport trim has those new cloth seats. By the way, I actually like the cloth seats. I thought they were well done. Seat adjustment is manual. The shifter is a shifterless button type shifter, so there's more room on the inside. While they did add that volume control to the infotainment system, I just could not get my phone to connect to it with Android Auto. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are standard, but I also found the graphics to be a little old school, sort of like something from about 10 years ago. But I am happy for the volume knob, because before that it was a slider, and that is just hard to use. Good room in the rear when the seats fold up, and there's storage underneath when they're down. A little bit at the sport level, a little bit lacking as far as USB connections for the rear seat passengers. There's really nothing in the way of USB or 12-volt connections. But let's talk a little bit about pricing and fuel economy. Highways 24, 18 city, 21 combined. Not great numbers, really, for a vehicle of this size. But we can run down the pricing on the one we had for review. By the way, it is built in Lincoln, Alabama, USA, and the engine comes from the USA, and so does that 9-speed transmission. By the way, also 5-star overall rating, government crash rating and safety rating, and that is the only midsize pickup to get that rating. So if you want a midsize pickup and you're really concerned about that, this is the way to go, the Honda Ridgeline. So ours was the Ridgeline all-wheel drive Sport. That has a base price of $36,490, and then you add in what they call post-production options, including that HPD package, which was fender flares, the alloy wheels, the grill, the HPD decals, and emblem. That was a $2,800 package. Destination is $1,175 for a total of $40,860. Not bad these days when it comes to a mid-size pickup truck. 280 horsepower, which is not bad out of that 3.5-liter V6. It's the only engine you can get with this. And four-wheel independent suspension, which means it rode like a car, which is a good thing. But you can certainly step up and get more options. Things I would like, of course, are a wireless phone charger. I really like that. And I'd have to really research why I could not connect my phone. So maybe a nav system. All that can be had for more money with upgraded models. If I could get the Android Auto to work in this, though, the Sport model would be great, because the Sport seats were not frumpy looking. They were nice cloth, nicely stitched with that contrasting stitched cloth. You can get all kinds of things for this. A function package with a hard tonneau cover, bed cargo net. You can get utility package with running boards, roof rails, and crossbars. Very, very nice truck, though. And the bed, I think other manufacturers could take note of this to get that functionality and use that space under the bed for storage, lockable storage. It's just great.
Great idea.
Yeah. I was pretty impressed with it, the way it rode, the way it looked. And I'll be interested if they'll do a trail sport version of this. I bet they will eventually as that rolls out. Right now it's on the Passport, their SUV, but I'm sure they will do a version of that. Can you imagine a version of that with even higher and a big winch on the front bumper? That's what you would go for, I know, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's cool vehicle. People love them.
People love them. I would say it's a little bit more truck-like than the Ridgelines of the past, which is not a bad thing. As you could see in that video, they actually made a pretend seam between the bed and the... Yeah, so, hey, we appreciate you listening to Cruise Control. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We'll see you down the road.